In this video, I'm going to go over a community post. I'll give you a second to pause the video and read it through. Otherwise, I will start right now. What they're looking for is they have an API output right here, and they are trying to parse it out to get a session ID with its value and a client ID with its value. So I've got this input data here, and we can see that it has embedded new lines. So the way I'm going to tackle this today is I'll go to the Parse tab and drag the Text to Columns tool down. Now I want to split this to different rows, and I'll use the new line delimiter. When I hit run, we'll see we've parsed it into the 5 rows, and we want to keep these 2 rows. A filter we can do, they both have set cookie, and so let's go ahead and do a filter, and we will say that the data string should contain the string set cookie. And I'll use as many characters as I can so that it's as strict as possible. And we can see we're now down to 2 rows. Now we can add a formula tool to the canvas, and let's go ahead and find our categories. Again, we can do a contains, and within the data string, if it contains session ID, we'll say if your data contains session ID, then we'll give it the tag of session ID. Else if, I'll put this to a new line, if it contains client ID, then we can call it client ID. Else, if it doesn't find either of those, we'll give it null, and we have to end if. The reason why I like to do this is just to make sure we're not tagging something as client ID when it's not actually client ID, so we specifically make sure it must contain this to be client ID as well. When we hit run, we'll see we have tagged these 2 successfully. And finally, we need to parse out the value. Again, we need to find something common. And in that case, we can see right here, they both end in this string right after the value in question. So we can first start by taking the left of the data string up until we find within the data string this target. So when we hit run, we can see the value now stops at the end of the string that we're looking for. Now, to find the left border, we can see it's the equal sign. So for ease, we will do another term here, and we will say we want to keep the right because we're looking to trim off some of the left of the value string. How much do we want to keep? Well, let's start with the whole thing. We want to keep the whole thing first, and we will subtract out starting where we find from the value string the equal sign. And we'll notice that it subtracted out up to the equal, but we want to subtract out 1 more. So we'll subtract out 1 more, and we hit run, and now we can see we have our category as well as our value. The last step here is to, on the Transform tab, drop down this Cross Tab tool, and we're going to change the column headers of the categories, and we'll use the values, and we'll just select Concatenate here, and you'll see that now we have 2 columns with the IDs as well as their values. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you on the next one.